Whenever I'm painting in the studio, I like to warm up, and warming up means just doing something just for fun and looking for ways to be more creative so that when I go to paint my serious painting, I'm already feeling bold and experimental and ready to do something really amazing. So here I'm just dropping in some color, and as you can see, it's pretty bold. Using cobalt teal, green gold, quinacridone violet, and maybe you can already tell what this is going to be. When I first started painting this subject, I was very traditional, and it's the subject I know so well that it was really hard to kind of let go of my expectation of what I thought it should look like. So but one day I read something about color theory, and I'm not a real big academic painter. I would much rather just paint instead of thinking about schooly stuff. But I was learning a little bit about color theory and blown away by how it kind of matched what I had learned just painting at home. And color theory said that if you want a vibrant green, red as a complement looks really makes it pop. And so I added some red and was amazed at the difference it made. And then from there I got a little bolder, and then I started, trying out adding turquoise and adding purple, and suddenly my paintings were just so full of beautiful color that it was just really exciting and fun to kind of explore. And so when I'm painting something, even something as kind of traditional as an evergreen tree, which is what this is if you haven't figured it out. We are here in northern British Columbia. We are just surrounded by beautiful evergreens and spruce and pine and larch or tamarack, and they're incredible. And they don't have to just be green. And my paintings got so much more interesting when I started throwing in some non-traditional colors. The green I've used here is green gold, and I don't usually think of my trees as being that brilliant yellowy green, not the evergreen tree. It's usually a dark green. But here I have some really vibrant color which might look good in a wintry landscape where we have maybe a hill, and that's going to be pale blue, the little, or cobalt teal that is, the little bit of cobalt violet because it's just such a beautiful soft color when paired with the cobalt teal. Do a little stripe over here for the hill as well. And I know most people paint their background first, but rules made to be broken. And a lot of times when I'm warming up in my studio, I'm not painting a full scene. I just end up painting something that pleases me, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute, that could be a whole painting, and then I have to figure out and improvise how to paint a background around it. So it's not always, you don't always paint the background first. Maybe I have, foresty area back here. Now I'm getting really bold. I'm using an Escoda Versatile Rigger brush, and the reason I'm using that brush is because the long body on it really gives me an awesome swish on my paper. And now my background's even more interesting. And then I didn't do anything about a sky either. Wondering, this tree looks kind of lonely here, but if I start to throw in another one, it might get a little weird. So I'm going to leave it. And then everything is so vibrant, I think the sky should be actually fairly dull. So I'm just going to see what I can make kind of a grayish sky. And a lot of times you'll find amazing grays in your palette already, because as colors sit in those wells and they kind of mix and mingle, everything starts to get neutralized. You're using their complementary colors just kind of find each other and make neutrals. So that's why I don't clean my palette very often. All kinds of interesting mixtures just waiting to be discovered and used. And again with my sky, because my tree's still damp and I'm doing this all really quickly in one layer, I don't want to touch it too much, although a little bit of flowing together, it doesn't hurt a painting. Don't feel like everything has to be crisp and separate. Your viewers are going to be able to figure out your image, even if parts are blurring into other parts. A couple of things I really love about this demo, and now is about the time where I would want it to dry. My neutral dull sky. My tree just kind of pops against it. There's these really interesting little particles of pigment over here. Let's see if I can get in closer. Little bits of pigment in here that just are so cool, little flecks of turquoise poking out of the violet, and the green kind of as a background to all of it. You can see the particles of pigment just sitting there looking pretty together. And then I like my interesting calligraphic brushstrokes as well. A warm-up like this isn't meant to be a perfect painting. It's meant to loosen you up and get you going, and then take this information, hey, these colors worked well together, I'm going to use that in my next painting. And I call it sketching whenever I'm doing something that's loose and kind of not intended to be a serious painting. And actually I call almost all my paintings sketches, because my feeling is as soon as I start to think, oh, this is going to be the best painting ever, that's when I start really tightening up, and I lose that beautiful loose effect that I was looking for. Can't hurt to use a little bit of spatter, liven up our sky, right? And this little sketch, I could give it a chance to dry and then go in with a darker color, maybe some more of this phthalo turquoise, maybe some more violet, and just define a few branches a little bit. But otherwise, I just think I have a fun little sketch that's got me using color in interesting ways. It's given me a chance to play with some swoopy brush strokes and some washes and color mixing. So I've done a bunch of kind of preparatory work that will help me make my studio session more productive.